Welcome back to the Edge Business Training McMarketing 101. I'm Chip McCarter again.
Christy Ogle.
And we're on video number 2, guys. Get ready to dive into it. The first video was going over mindset and the mindset you need to have going into not only this training, but going into business in general. We're going to start off today. We have a few different things on this video that we're going to go over, but we're going to first start off going over the 3 types of business owners. There are really only 3 types of business owners, and everybody falls under these 3 categories that has a business. Christy, what's number 1?
When you think about going and getting a cupcake, you want to go to the best person that makes a cupcake, right?
Of course. Yeah.
They're a skilled producer. Where would you go for the best cupcakes in Waco, Texas?
Oh, man. I'd probably get in trouble. I don't know. Simply Delicious is amazing.
Oh my God, they're so good.
But now, I know a lot of them that are so good, man. So
there's a lot of people that come for the angel cupcakes in the Waco, Texas area that are sprinkled with fairy dust by Joanna Gaines.
Oh yeah.
At that Magnolia Bakery. Like I've gotten them. It's a $5 cupcake, but it tastes just like Simply Delicious. It's delicious. Yeah.
Shocker. I believe it.
Yeah, so you have a skilled producer. They're good at baking cupcakes. They're good at building decks. They're good at pouring concrete. They're great at making this Mexican dish. A skilled producer, somebody that can pull it off, an artist. So you want to know that, yeah, it's great to be this, but you have to have all 3 of these to be able to scale your business. If you're just a skilled producer, a solopreneur, it's very difficult to scale your business. So when we're going over these 3 different kinds of entrepreneurs, I want you to think, who am I? What do I need? And how do I get to that next level of business? So a skilled producer, somebody that can clean a house, somebody that can do the HVAC system. Now I'm saying service-based businesses because that's where I'm really from, is that business genre.
Yeah. But
somebody that's really great at picking out clothes and selling clothes, a skilled producer. The second form, what's that, Chip?
A good leader, being a good manager. So being the person that can run a crew, not necessarily the whole shebang, but being able to manage people, being able to interact with other people well, but also being able to get the respect enough for people to listen and do what you're telling them to do or asking them to do.
Yeah. So a manager leader is very important to being able to scale your business, especially when you have employees or people that are contractors working for you, or if you're outsourcing, you need somebody to be able to delegate and get your business going, because it is 80% psychology, but it's also 20% of skills, which you can learn skills from anywhere. You can get a book to learn the skills, right? You don't necessarily go to a training, go to a conference, but you need a manager leader to be able to drive the business forward. The third one is an entrepreneur, somebody that's going to take that risk.
Yeah. And not only is that a risk taker, but it's, by definition, my definition, the problem solver, the person that's thinking outside the box and coming up with solutions instead of more reasons why you should worry about the issue.
And the entrepreneur can see where the business is supposed to go. Like, they're the ones that change the world. Now, my question to you, out of these 3, Chip, the skilled producer, the manager leader, and the entrepreneur, in the beginning, who makes the most money?
In the very beginning?
In the very beginning. Think about it as basketball or football.
The skilled producer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the skilled producer. I don't know if Dak Prescott is still with the Dallas Cowboys, but he's got millions in his contract, even though his ankle was broke last year. He still earned the money. The second person that makes the most money, who do you think it is?
I mean, I would still say entrepreneur. I feel like the manager leader doesn't necessarily make money without one of the other 2.
The manager leader makes the second most money. And the reason for that is the coach. I don't know who the coach of the Dallas Cowboys is anymore. I knew it was Jason Garrett a few years ago, but he got axed. Yeah. So he makes millions of dollars in the beginning, but the big payoff comes to the entrepreneur, Jerry Jones, who owns the Cowboys. Now, when he purchased the Cowboys were damn near bankruptcy. And I think it was the 80s that they were just bleeding millions of dollars a day. And he buys the Dallas Cowboys on the courthouse lawn. That's the way the story goes. And then he turns it around to being one of the most profitable NFL franchises ever. Down here in Texas, we see those stinking Cowboy shirts everywhere. Cars, tattoos, yeah, everywhere. Flags. Oh my gosh, they're everywhere. So the one that makes the most money in the beginning is the skilled producer, but scalability wise, the entrepreneur can make a great amount of money also. Yeah. Now, the manager leader, you know, they're making $8 or $10 million a year in the NFL, but the skilled producers make him way more. And Jerry Jones, he's laughing all the way to the bank now, right? For sure. Yeah.
But he took the risk, you know, invested the money. I know one thing that a lot of people always, my first year out, you know, I basically put everything I made back into the business. So I didn't look like I was doing that well. I didn't have that much money, but you have to take that risk, man. You have to take the risks. And that's what the entrepreneur does. And that's what, you know, Jerry Jones did. That's what mostly anybody that is living an amazing life right now. There was times where they were called crazy.
Yep.
You know, and I'm not even saying like a high percentage of the wealthiest people, they were willing to take that risk and step out on a limb.
Exactly. So in the beginning, you might be like Chip is talking about, where you're putting all the money back into the business and you don't show much profitability. Now, the difference between what Jerry Jones did and the other guy that didn't win the Dallas Cowboys is he actually executed. He took that knowledge and he started executing. For so many years, the Dallas Cowboys still bled money, but Jerry turned it around. Now, he had to be resourceful and be able to put money back into the Dallas Cowboys to be able to be the billionaire that he is today. So these are the three different kinds of entrepreneur. Now, who are you? That's the question. Who are you? Who do you need to be? Or who do you need to hire to get to that next level of business? In the beginning, as a solopreneur, you have to outsource a lot. And we'll do a little bit of talking about that, but that's a different training. So you have to be able to encompass all three of these. Now, at your core, you're one of the three. Now, many years in business later, I can say I could be all three if I need to be. But I do know in my businesses that I'm one, and then I have to have other people to be able to bring me along. Like I wanted to start a marketing business, a marketing education business. I'm great at pulling that off and doing the training, but I can't do the online stuff. Partner, he can do it. He's the one that can pull that kind of stuff off. And we also knew when we sat down to build this business, how we were going to get there, right? So you have to be who you are and then hire the other ones to help lift you up and build you up. But now we're going into marketing.
Yes, yes. So this is definitely the bread and butter. This is what you 3 ways to grow a business is what we're about to talk about right now. 3 ways to grow your business. And this is where you have to pay attention, because these 3 things are what's going to consistently need to be, you know, you have to just rinse and repeat for sure. But what's the number one way to grow a biz, or how? What's the first thing that comes to your mind, Christy, when someone says, how are you going to grow your biz?
Especially if you're a new business, if you're a solopreneur, if you're under 5 years in business, get more customers and clients.
Right. This simple, right?
Yeah.
That's like everybody has that knowledge, right? Everybody has that knowledge, you would think, but I can actually tell you from experience, I've seen people open up businesses that just thought they would come, like a Field of Dreams style. If you build it,
turn
they
on
will
the
come.
McDonald's sign, they just all
Yeah,
line
yeah.
up,
Well,
right?
if it's McDonald's,
Yeah.
correct. But if you have a new business with a new logo that no one's heard of, can't turn that sign on, no one knows it.
No, you have to go from obscurity to oversaturation. Now, here's a little secret, Chip. Did you know that Amazon doesn't just turn on the lights and the orders flood in?
No, I didn't know that.
They have to market.
Of course.
They have to get more customers. No matter how many customers Amazon has, they want more.
Yeah. And that's why they advertise on their own platforms. You see Amazon everywhere now.
They are marketing everywhere. They've got TV commercials. I've heard them on the radio. I've seen print ads for them. They go from obscurity to oversaturation. I mean, 10 years ago, have we ever heard of Amazon?
No.
I don't think so. The iPhone was just barely out. So you've got to get people to know. So there are 3 different ways. One is more customers. Number 2 is increasing the average transaction.
Yeah, increasing your average transaction with your client. And we'll go into the difference between a customer and a client later. But all of mine are clients, hands down.
Amazon, when you order something, does it say, okay, we're happy? No, you scroll down a little bit, it goes, customers who purchased this also bought this, this plus this, which equals happiness, right?
Yeah.
And so you want to be happy. So you're like, okay, everybody else ordered that. Maybe I should order it. So they're increasing your average transaction. It's like when you go into a ClickFunnels and you buy one thing of vitamins and they go, wait. If you buy 3, you get 1 free. Yeah. So you've got 4 now. Like, it's increasing that average transaction value. It could be increasing your prices by 99 cents.
Exactly. Yeah. That was what I was going to say is it's as simple as that, increasing your prices. And you're the only one that knows whether it should be 99 cents, $5 or $100. But yeah, the increasing and also working the customers and clients you already have, though, and letting them know what else they could be doing with you. Letting them know the ones that come every month on the low end, teach them the high end. And that goes for any kind of business.
The third way is increasing their frequency of repurchase. That's why when I'm scrolling through stinking Facebook now, Amazon pops up. And I don't just naturally go to the Amazon site unless I want to order something. But the other day, they had this fake squirrel that you put on your fingers and it looks like a squirrel. It has like 4 arms and then the head goes here. I wish I would have brought it with me. But so I would have never ordered that chip ever, but I have 2 boxers at home and I was like, I need that squirrel.
You saw it. Yeah.
So, yeah. It came up on my Facebook. I purchased it. I got the squirrel in. I get it out for, 5 or 10 minutes to mess with the dogs when Max and the kids are over at the house. And they got me to repurchase even though I didn't want it. And now they're reserving me ads for, a rabbit to put on your hand or a jackass puppet or something like that. So those are the 3 ways. Now, if you increase each of these by 10%, you can compound and have explosive growth in your business. This is a different training that takes about 2 to 3 hours to train. So we don't have the time for that today. But when you increase them all by just 10%, you can have this ginormous kind of increase in your business. Now, I wanted to bring this up because what we're focusing on with this training is increasing the number of clients that you're going to have in your business. So you can have this explosive growth. We'll deal with the other 2 on another video or another training in the future. But how do we get more customers?
So many ways, Christy. There's so many ways.
There is.
So, and that's the question is, who are your customers though, right?
Yeah, you have to know who your customers is. If you're selling these amazing cupcakes that are full of sugar, your target market is not going to be the diabetic community.
Yeah, or the gym.
No. Now, so you've got to figure out who your target customer is and your niche market, that sort of thing, your ideal customer. We're going to talk about those later. We're going to go into the different forms of marketing right now. So I was at a conference. Do you remember going to those before 2020?
Oh yeah.
When you would go there and there'd be thousands of people. I went to Business Mastery with Tony Robbins, which a lot of this training's coming from. Thank you, Tony Robbins. That there was 2,500 people there. Everybody there paid at least 10 grand to be there. Not saying that to be boastful. I'm saying that for a couple different reasons. Number one, for a business to grow, you have to learn. So I went there to learn all about business and marketing. So there's 2,500 people there, Chip. They're from ages 16 to 85. There's some business owner, most of them are business owners because it's called Business Mastery. And some of them are just there to become better human beings. But most of them are business owners from 16 to 85. Tony Robbins asked this question, like, how do you market? He goes, how did you buy Business Mastery? Number one, did you guys buy Business Mastery from telemarketing? If you did, stand up. How many people do you think stood up for telemarketing?
My guess would be 0. I've never understood telemarketing now.
You, as a listener, have you ever purchased something from somebody calling you on the phone? I haven't.
I haven't. And I think I know people who have, but I can't confirm it.
Yeah, it's probably a 1% return.
Yeah.
But nobody stood up. 2,500 people, 16 to 85. The second thing he asked is, how many of you bought this from direct mail? How many do you think stood up?
Which means they marketed this on all these platforms, just so you know. Yeah.
Stand up.
Direct mail, again, I feel like it's the same as telemarketing. I've never filled out a paper and bought anything from direct mail. So
no.
0 would
0.
be my guess.
16 to 85. Nobody stood up. Now, the third one, he asked, how many of you bought this from traditional marketing? What's traditional marketing?
Commercials, like TV commercials, radio commercials,
billboards.
Yeah. I think newspaper and magazines too.
Yeah.
Those would be traditional, right?
Very expensive sort of marketing. Still expensive to this day, even though there's such a low return.
Yeah.
Only about 15% of the people stood up. 15%. The fourth thing he asked is, how many of you bought this as a recommendation from your friends on social media? 16 to 85.
I would, out of 25, I'd say at least like 30% would be my guess, I guess.
85%, Chip.
Yeah, well, recommendations, that's the best referral. I mean, referrals are the best way.
Yeah.
The best leads.
One of my friends on social media, she's real adventurous. She owns a stand-up paddleboard place. And she'll put on social media different places that she's done stand-up paddleboarding. Now, I like to sup also. So I watch her and her recommendations, and whatever she does, I've got to go do.
Yeah. Yeah. Referrals are what they're 5 times more likely to use you if they're referred to from somebody they know.
Yeah. So I went freaking white water rafting in New Braunfels when it was flooded. That's some crazy shit in Texas, white water rafting. Yeah. I thought one of my kids was going to bail out because they were so scared. I was shaking in my, like, what the hell am I doing?
That's in Texas, man. Up north, I heard they got some crazy stuff.
I know. I don't think I'll ever do it up north. Somebody went parasailing and I thought, you know what? I'm going to go parasailing. So I take 2 of my kids to go with me. All 3 of us are parasailing. I'm up there going,
yeah,
this is bullshit. This is crazy. I can see freaking stingrays below me.
That's awesome.
Like, I don't need to see it. I hear something going, I'm going to die. Right. So I'm more careful of my recommendations now, but when people say, I've done this, this is amazing, automatically we're like, oh,
more likely to want to try it, for sure.
Yeah. Now, the 5th way is online to market.
Yeah. That'd be website, Google profile,
Amazon, Walmart.com.
Yeah, all that.
That sort of, how many people do you think stood up out of the 2,500?
Well, so that 85%, they were recommended on Facebook, correct? Isn't that what? So they all
intertwining.
They're all on it too. Then, so that 85%, I'd say 99%.
100% of the people stood up
online. Yeah,
all online from 16 to 85 or older. I don't know what the oldest person there was. Yeah. So as a marketer of a small business, I paid attention because for years, 5 years of my business, I threw away money. I did telemarketing. I had salesmen that I paid and they didn't have a return. I did direct mail. I did billboards. I did TV. I did radio. I spent hundreds of thousands. I told Chip the first time I met him, I said, you know what? I paid 2 full-time salaries to ABC in the Central Texas area. And you know what kind of, and I played 20 times during the day with our commercials. We had 3 commercials. We played them during the View. We played them during the morning news, the afternoon news, and we even played them all the way up to Jimmy Kimmel. Like it played all the time. Yeah. $75,000 we spent on advertising with the local ABC channel in that year. I believe it was 2016. Do you want to know how much in business I got? Because we tracked our marketing.
Yeah, you told me, so I'm cheating if I answer. So you can tell, what do y'all think?
We painted one house. A $4,000 return on investment. That's when I got passionate about marketing. Most people send off their marketing to somebody else. Outsourcing your marketing is like outsourcing your sex life. You want to do some of your marketing on your own, or somebody that's done something with marketing, not these people that just come out and go, I'm going to start a marketing company, and they go out and they do it and they don't get a good return on investment for their clients. What you want is to send your marketing dollars out like little soldiers every single day to bring you back more money. And most people are not doing this. They're using traditional, they're using telemarketing, they're using mail order, which you can use that in combination with other things, but don't just use one of those forms of marketing because it's not going to be successful. So when you attack your marketing from multiple avenues, you can actually bring revenue into your business in multiple ways. You go 6, 8, 10 different avenues to do your marketing. Doesn't mean that you're writing content for all of those. You have the content and then you break it up right into these different platforms. It will bring you back more money instead of just sending your money out and it just takes more. It brings you back more money. They're like little trolls.
Yeah, no, it's 100% true. And knowing where and how to put that money is a big part of it. You know, you have to know where to put it. And at the same time, and don't get me, there is thousands of people out there trying to tell you where to put your money when it comes to marketing. It's like a cowboy. You never know what you're going to get, you know, when it comes to digital marketers. I am a digital marketer. I have an agency. I understand completely that there are people out there that are saying they can do what they really can't truly do. But it's, sorry, but it's all in bringing in the revenue. I just lost, I went blank.
That's okay. That's okay. Bringing in the revenue from multiple forms.
Yeah, but it's just trusting the fact that the marketing, the traditional marketing it's outdated, man. It's so hard to get it out there across. I have business owners turning me down all the time just for simple, oh, we're still sticking with these commercials. And I'll try to ask them, well, hey, how much return have you gotten on it? Well, I don't know. Yeah. You know, because there's no checking. It's a lot harder to check too. You have to ask every call, every lead you get, how did you find us? With websites and Facebook, they track that stuff for you, man. I mean, you know everything you're doing.
Yeah. So if you can't measure, you can't manage.
Yeah.
So if you can't measure your marketing dollars, if you don't have the time to talk to that customer and go, hey, how did you hear about my business? 1 second, right? 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. Then you can't manage it. You can't grow it. You can't scale it. If you don't know where they're hearing about you from, then you can't grow it. So I'm going to give you 8 different ways to drive revenue into your business that I learned personally from Jay Abraham. Thank you, Jay Abraham. I'm totally giving him credit. Introduced to him from Grant Cardone and Tony Robbins and what they taught me. So if you're approaching your marketing from multiple ways to drive revenue, 6, 8, 10 ways, it's going to explode your business. Whereas 95% of all businesses use one form of marketing. They think, I put this website up there and I turn it on
and it's golden.
Where's the calls?
Yeah. Or I created a commercial, paid thousands of dollars and put it on the TV, and I'm done marketing or advertising.
Yeah, it's way more
Yeah. Oh yeah.
than that.
I mean, it's a numbers game. You have to have everything to work. You don't want it to just be one stream, like one trickling drip of water. Why not the waterfall?
Yeah.
Use all 8.
So if Starbucks was to open down the street here, would they just put it up and do nothing with it? No. What do they do? Still during the Super Bowl, do you see Starbucks commercials?
I don't watch much TV anymore, man. It's all streaming nowadays.
Man,
I haven't seen a commercial in forever.
I probably haven't seen a commercial since the last Super Bowl.
Well, streaming places started to show commercials, so I do actually see them now a lot more than I was.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate that.
Appreciate it. But advertising, man, you got to try to make money somehow.
You do. So you have to be out there. Taco Bell, Budweiser, Walmart, Starbucks, McDonald's, all these people have been in business for years and years and years. And it cost about $4 million for a Super Bowl ad. Did they say, we're big enough? We don't need to advertise anymore?
Nope.
No, they want more. So they keep advertising. And like Chip said, it's very noisy out there right now. You've got your phone, you've got your computer, you've got your tablet, you've got your kids running in, you've got your dogs coming in, you've got the wife or husband hollering at you to do this or that. You've got billboards everywhere. You've got to get through that noise. And the average customer in 2021 and beyond has to see you 16 to 18 times before they pick up that phone to call you for the very first time.
So that means, Christy, are you telling me that if I call them on the first try and it doesn't work, that I got to keep calling them?
Yes.
What?
Over and over, to go from where nobody knows your name to omnipresence.
To where everybody knows your name. But you can't stop at the one no. If everybody did that, there'd be nothing being done. And especially if they didn't say no. Now, if they tell you no, don't ever call me back, probably leave them alone. But if you felt that not at this time, but maybe later, that make a note, write it down, do something. This person needs to be on the next call list. We'll just keep coming back to them, or the next email blast I send out.
The average customer or client in a construction field, do you know how long it takes them to make a decision?
No, I don't know, but I would guess at least 3 to 6 months.
3 months. So you go out, you do the estimate, you give them the bid. Yeah. There's only 15% of people that take the bid automatically. They're above the curve, right? Yeah. Where you get to that bill, that's 80% of people that call you within that 3 to 6 month period. Yeah. So you're right, Chip. Yeah. And then the other ones are a year later. That's, a small percentage also, but still, like, you've got to get out there over and over and over again. You can't give them the bid and be like, call me in 3 to 6 months. You've got to hit them over and over and over again from these multiple forms to drive revenue into your business, because it's very, very noisy. You want to be able to stop their scroll and pull them in. So what's the 8 different ways to drive revenue into your business by Jay Abraham? To attack it from 6, 8 to 10 different ways to drive revenue. Now we're going to talk about something that I just said you probably shouldn't do: direct mail.
Yeah, direct mail.
Direct mail.
Wait, direct mail? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, direct mail. So direct sales. Direct sales.
Yeah.
Person to person, business to business, right? So direct sales, that would be,
phone calls. I mean, like
face to face.
Yeah, face to face. I mean, networking is where you can do direct sales as well, but direct sales is like, in this, if you're not the salesperson, you're going to need to find one anyways, because you always want somebody selling for you at all times, whether it's Facebook, your website. You always want more than one thing really selling for you at all times. But direct sales are just either over the phone or in-person sales, but it's a one-on-one interaction. It may be one-on-two, depending on, like, if the client has has someone else that makes a decision with them.
Yes.
but it's direct with you and one other person, or you and a team or something like that.
2020 happened and it changed up the game for direct sales. A lot of people couldn't go out for 3 to 6 months to do face-to-face. I heard of people that lived on commission that totally went bankrupt in 2020. So how do you get direct sales when you can't go out necessarily face-to-face like you used to be able to? It is what we're doing right now, Zoom. So simple to set up with a client.
Yeah, Zoom, even doing like Facebook Live, that's you directly selling to anybody that wants to listen. You just have to find a way. And it's like Christy said, man, 2020 changed the game. There's some offices that still won't let you in the door without a face mask. You never know what you're getting into. So if you do map your day out to go do direct sales and knock on doors, you might want to look into, are they allowing people to even do so right now? Because most companies that initially said no when COVID hit have not lifted that.
No,
because it's just easier just to leave it alone, because now they don't have solicitors coming all the time and stuff like that. So it really helped them out in that sense. But you have to find a way, though. I am always looking for sales people that are willing to work for commission, but then it's on them though to find that way, whether it's email blasts, phone calls, whatever they do. But if you're not the salesman, find somebody, salesperson, then you need to find somebody that can do that for you, because as a business, you're going to have to ask for money eventually.
One thing that Grant Cardone taught me was to, instead of being one-to-one sales for direct sales, to be one-to-many. So if you're in a service-based business, a great way to go one-to-many is find where your target market is gathering, and try to get to as many of them as you can for that direct sales, that face-to-face interaction. Some states are allowing you to open up, like the state of Texas and Florida, where other places like Australia are on their 6th lockdown. So you have to use that resourcefulness that we talked about in video number 1 to be able to do the direct sales depending on where you are. And on our call that we'll have with you, you guys will be able to talk about the different ways to get different direct sales. The second way to drive revenue into your business is telemarketing. There's actually a comeback in 2020 because people that didn't answer their dang phones are now answering their phones. So there's a little bit higher rate for telemarketing conversion. Still, it's only about 2 to 3%. But in the beginning of business, if you're not doing business, you have time. So find ways to drive those leads. Another way to do it in 2021 is via Zoom, where you can get one-to-many with the networking that we're going to talk about in the later video.
For sure. And depending on your niche, networking meetings they're still going on in some places. And if you're a business to business company, that's where you need to be, because you'd be with other business owners, and that would be shifting it to many. You'd be selling to more than one person every time you go. But finding where they are, though, man, it's exactly what it is. Just finding where they are in general, and then doing so. But the telemarketing, though, it has made a comeback. It's insane and I'm getting them all the time now. It's just crazy. But doing cold calls yourself is the same as telemarketing, and if you do have the time, just do it. Just start making phone calls to people, get the list, prospect, do whatever you need to get those lists and make the phone calls yourself. Now, I'm not going to put a bunch of effort into doing marketing. I'm just not, but that's me personally. It depends on what you have going for you. You got to figure out what that is. So
yeah, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, a lot of them are using the telemarketing. Another kind of arm of telemarketing now is also text marketing.
Oh yeah,
that's huge right now.
Yeah, it blew up in 2020. Really, I saw it. Yeah, last year it started going really big, but it is. And they have, just like email blasts, they have text blasts that you can do.
Yeah,
they go out to. It's another good way.
Yeah, the third way is referrals. to get referrals. Like Chip said earlier, a referral is 5 times more likely to use you than a regular lead that comes in. Because if I hand Chip a referral, I'm going to say, they called me to do this, but I don't do it. I told them to use you.
Yeah.
They're going to use Chip because I recommended him
Mhm.
for this. So referral based marketing is huge. Now, just to let you know, do you know how many times you have to follow up on a referral usually before they use you? Because it's so busy, so noisy nowadays.
2 to 3 would be my guess, but I don't know.
12 times. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm relentless, right?
Yeah,
I'll
for sure.
keep calling, keep calling, keep calling, keep calling. But do you know the average salesperson, 75% of them don't do it over once.
Yeah, the one, yeah.
So you call Chip's mom wants to use my cleaning service. I call Chip's mom. She doesn't answer. Does that mean Chip's mom hates me? No.
She was busy.
She was busy. I call her back. She doesn't answer. I text her. She doesn't answer. I email her. She doesn't answer. She wants to use my service because Chip said she wants to use your cleaning service. Do I quit it? Time number 4? No. Over and over and over again. Email blast, text blast, sending her my social media pages so she can see it, getting her to subscribe to what I'm doing. And then I hit her over and over and over and over and over again. I get sick of hearing myself as a marketer, but you know what? The customer doesn't. If she says, Christy, I hate it, I'm not going to use it, I'll leave her alone. But I do it over and over and over and over and over again. The thousands of people I email every day, I'm not doing it right unless I get an unsubscribe. I gotta get it out there over and over and over and over and over again. And I get sick of hearing it, but they don't.
Yeah. And that was one thing I was worried about getting into business is I was like, man, I don't want to be that one person that just always wants to sell. And man, there's easy ways to find balance in that, by even with being redundant, repetitive emails, text, doesn't mean that's all you have to talk about in person when you're with them. But it's all really online too. Like that's why I'm okay with it now, because everything it's repetitive, it's redundant. You have to keep on pushing the same thing over and over again, but it's just business. Mm-hmm. And eventually at the end of the day, that's just how you have to look at it. It's just my business. And do I want it to be successful or not?
Mm-hmm. Think about what's your favorite sitcom?
Oh man, I have so many. I'm the Community right now.
The Community?
Right now at this time.
Mine is The Office.
Well, that's like one of the all-time.
Yeah,
so Seinfeld or The Office would be the top 2.
That's right too.
But right now, though, The Community.
I'm gonna have to check out Community.
It's really good.
So how many times have you watched The Office? Did you just watch it once?
No. It's like background music in a lot of my office I watch it all the time, at least probably 8 or 10 times.
Because you know it's good, even though you know that Michael's gonna fry his foot on the George Foreman grill. Yeah. Do you stop it right before that and go, you know what, I'm not going to watch that part because I know what happens?
No, it's funny. You want to laugh.
You watch it over and over and over again. If Chip and I are together long enough, there's definitely going to be that's what she said, joke said, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
And not
wearing the shirt yesterday.
Every one of them's good. But man, sometimes you knock it out of the ballpark with that joke. That's what she said joke. Sometimes it fits, sometimes it doesn't. So why am I telling you the Office story? Because we do it. We watch it over and over and over again because we're certain it's going to be an amazing show. We're certain it's going to make us laugh, right? Sure. I don't get sick of Michael Scott or Dwight. I watch it over and over and over again. And never do I think, Michael's such an idiot for saying that's what she said. I've heard it a million times. I'm waiting for that joke. Yeah. And then I do it over and over and over again. And never have I heard Chip go, Christy, that joke's getting old. It never gets old. So
hard to outplay that one.
With your marketing, you need to look at it as it's never going to get old. Just do it over and over and over again. As entrepreneurs, sometimes we're like, I need to scrap this and start all over, right? Yes. But don't use the same marketing over and over and over again. I have an ad that's run on Facebook for 4 years. I've put put over $10,000 into this ad. It's misspelled. It's fuzzy. It's not the best ad that I've ever written, but it continually gets me more customers. It gets me people talking about my brand and what I'm doing. And they'll say, I saw that misspelled ad, Christy, and I said on there, it's misspelled. I'm like, yeah, but that's what stops your scroll. That's what gets you hooked in, right? Over and over and over and over again. People will be like, I'm so sick of seeing this ad. That's not the customer I'm trying to get to. I'm getting to the one that has the money to spend on my business. So over and over and over and over again, obscurity to omnipresence is the goal. And to do that, you have to really 10x whatever it is that you're doing.
And that's how you get referrals, though. That's the thing. Other people have to know. They have to know what you do, and they have to be confident in that you're doing that as well. But the only way to get referrals is by going from obscurity to omnipresence.
Yes.
Because if people don't know what you do, they are never going to refer business to you. And that's a statistic.
And when you're doing referrals with people's customers, because really when you go to a networking group, you're looking for people to open their book of business to you, is you have to take care of the customer on the back end. That doesn't mean patting them on the butt. My kids always laugh when I give this training because they're like, you're going around patting people on the butt. Well, you have to. So that's where you put them on a drip campaign with email, right? Or you take care of them and then remind them, hey, I do concrete work, but I also do this, right? With the concrete, just to educate them so that they can use your business in different ways. A great way to do this is taking care of the customer on the back end when you're a realtor.
Yeah.
Because as a realtor, you'll get those referrals when you take care of that customer on the back end and you don't let them just drop off the face of the earth. You'll get their mom, their brother, their best friend when they buy the house.
For sure. And you never know who you're talking to. Just because it's like, say you are business to business and you're talking to someone who doesn't own a business, doesn't mean that their friends and family doesn't.
Or their husband.
Or their husband. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you still want people to know what you do, and you want them to trust that you can do it correctly. And that's how you get the referrals. So you just have to get out there. You get out there, put yourself out there, and the referrals will start coming in the more you do business. The next one after referrals would be joint ventures.
Yeah. So a joint venture would be, okay, I do this. I am a real estate agent, right? But when you buy a piece of real estate, you also need insurance. So you have an insurance agent that you work hand in hand with, or a mortgage lender you work hand in hand in. This is where networking groups are very important, that you can build your kind of joint ventures together. Or a roofer and a construction company. The roofer wants to get his crew in there and do the roof, but he doesn't want to do the flashing and the windows and that sort of thing because it's going to slow his crew down, and they don't like to do it. They really only like to roof. So you can do these joint ventures together. I mean, a mortgage lender, a realtor, an insurance company, an inspector, a handyman, like they could all go in together as a joint venture to increase the revenue for all of their businesses. But most people don't think about that, or they'll just do a joint venture with one person. Yeah. That's great. But if you're already going out to these meetings and you're working with people, work with more than one realtor. Realtors are great to bring business in for many different businesses. Sure. So definitely work with other people to help increase your revenue. If you attack this from multiple ways, 6, 8, 10 different ways to drive revenue into your business with marketing, you can explode your business.
And joint ventures can be, and this sounds a little crazy, but my best joint ventures that I've ever had have been with other companies in the same niche as me.
Yeah.
It's wild. My digital marketing agency, I have another guy that does digital marketing here in Waco, and me and him have bounced work back and forth from each other so much because I'm a lot better at one side and he's a lot better at the other. And that's the mindset of abundance though, man. You don't see your competition as competition. See them as they can help you as well. there's so many little small things that, like, say a bakery, well, we only do cupcakes. And then a catering company, well, we don't do desserts. They can team up, and it's the same thing. It's still catering. It's just two different parts of it. There's different parts to every niche. And there's almost like niches inside of niches. And
Yep.
companies get super specific on what they do. And when they get specific, you can take advantage and get the rest of the leads they're getting, you know, the stuff they don't want to do. So joint ventures can be with anybody.
Very profitable.
Yeah, man, so profitable. Yes, if you do it correctly, if done correctly, and you also can get burned. That's life. You might get burned.
Stupid tax we paid all the time.
Yes, you just get back up from that. But the joint ventures can definitely work out. And there's ways to protect yourself in joint ventures where you're not just, you know, gambling with your money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's ways to work it to where it's like commission or protected until you actually make money. But you have to look into that though. But you need to look into and see all these other businesses as opportunities for you to make more money.
Yeah. Another way is direct mail. Now in 2021, there's only about a 1% return on direct mail. That means postcards or flyers or something like that sent out to everybody in this similar zip code. This can be very, very expensive as a new business owner because they don't just say, okay, here's the higher income people that are in this zip code. They send it out to the thousands of people in 76712 or something like that.
Yeah, they send it to everybody in the zip code. Yeah, you can't like narrow down, I don't think, in direct mail to like a dynamic, you know, like how much money they make or anything like that. It just has to go to the house.
So here's the trick around that, where it doesn't cost you the postage. In 2021, the direct mail of 2021 is email.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. How much does it cost? Usually nothing. Now we've got a program that sends it out to, you know, 100,000 people in the state of Texas, but you're going, Christy, well, I don't have 100,000 people. What do you do, Chip? How do you build an email list in 2021?
I mean, so when I got started, when my numbers were still low, I had an Excel chart that I just added them to myself.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's CRMs you get a CRM that will make the list for you and put it on your website or whatever you want to do with it, whatever platform you use online. But when it comes down to it, it really could be free. You know, you
Free?
A pen and paper maybe, or type it into some notes on your phone. I mean, there's so many different, just build the list somewhere, whether it's online or handwritten. If you're old school, you know, there's so many different ways. Building a list is not hard.
It's not hard, but you have to.
Tedious time, you know.
You have to execute. You can't just think, I want an email list, so I'm going to just wish it into existence. It doesn't happen, right? You can't go to a garden and be like, I want no weeds. I want no weeds. I want no weeds. And they disappear. You have to get down on your knees and pull those damn weeds out. It's the same way with execution. You have to take action to build your list. Yeah. I have not paid for a list yet, and I've got hundreds of thousands of people on my email list. How did I do that? I went to events. I went to Chamber of Commerce's. I picked up books. When I opened those books, it had every business owner that went to that Chamber of Commerce's email. And you know what? I put it into my software system. I gathered business cards. Still, I've got boxes and boxes of business cards. I'll just say quickly, hey, can I send you an email? Can I send you an email? Yes. LinkedIn's another way too. Yeah. If your target market is a professional that they have to have certification or licensure, like maybe you're selling tools to only mechanics. There's a list with all the licensed mechanics in the state of Texas somewhere, or whatever state that you're in, or whatever area you're in. Be resourceful, and you can build that list very, very quickly, very, very inexpensively, because you don't have the money maybe in the beginning of your business, but you've got the time. So execute, do something, get off your butt, quit watching Netflix, and get to work.
Build that email list and start sending emails out. That's just added value, which we'll talk about over and over again with the Edge. You just constantly want to be adding value to your clientele. So this is just another way to do so. You can have email blast educating people into your field of work. You can have fun email blasts that send out jokes every morning that just remind them that you're there.
Yeah.
There's so many different things you can do. And there's even software programs that will like create the emails for you. Like there's ways to just not have to do anything and have it working for you once you pay and get involved. And that's what I was going to say. On the other hand, when you have the time and you can build it yourself, do it like Christy did, man. It's also tedious and time consuming, and she took her time and did that.
So I didn't know any better back then.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, now it's something that's worth something. You know what I mean? Whether you knew better or not, you put the time and effort in, and now it's something that's worth a lot of money. And you can buy them. You can buy these email lists. You can buy these phone numbers. You can go to your county and your state and check how many new assumed names and DBAs and LLCs have registered in the last 6 months, if that's your target market. If your target market's, like young teenage girls, just go to TikTok. I don't know what else to tell you.
Or no, Snapchat's still big.
No, Snapchat, yeah. Is it? See, you don't know.
Yeah. So there's so many different ways. You just have to be really resourceful to be able to get that email list. You also, when you have a website, you want to have a contact form of some. For sure. You want to get their name, their email, and their phone number is what you really want to do. Another thing is a lot of people believe you have to spend money to make money. So you have to advertise to go from obscurity to omnipresence. People have to know your name. I was talking to a mortgage lender a few months ago, and she said, Christy, one of my old friends from high school that's on Facebook that I talk to pretty often, bought a new house. I said, great. Did she get the mortgage from you? Did she get the money from you? She goes, no. She said to me some of the worst words an entrepreneur or business owner can hear. I forgot all about you.
Or I didn't know you do that.
Yeah. She's like,
I've gotten that.
It was a $1.2 million home. She would have made some bank from that, right?
Yeah, for sure. It hurts.
But
it hurts.
She said, that's where I knew I needed to start marketing on my social media pages. I needed to advertise, which is paying money to get your name out there. Advertise, advertise, advertise. If you're not advertising, people aren't going to know you on social media. If you're not paying to play, it's only your friends and family that are going to see you.
Yeah, and we will talk about that, because when it comes to advertising, there's affordable ways, and you don't have to spend what you used to, like on a commercial or on the radio. Advertising nowadays online, Google and Facebook are the two. That's where it's at. That's where you need to be when it comes to paying money for advertising online. But we'll get more into that, more in depth into that. But advertising is something that works for you even when you're not working. Like that's how I see it. Because every time I put out on Facebook, if I boost a post, or if I set up a daily, like a group of 6 ads that run daily for a certain amount of money, once I put it out there, I don't have to touch that again. But it's out there just consistently going into people's feeds, and they'll see that and know that. I have had people, when I introduce myself, say, oh, I've seen your business on Facebook. And that's what you do want to hear.
Yes.
And I said, oh, I keep seeing McMarketing. Oh, cool. Like that's exactly what I pay for. And so it's confirmed, and I've seen it over and over again. And there's ways to go for the big money, and there's ways to go for the immediate money. And that's another crucial thing that we'll talk about later. But advertising is just as important as all the other ones. You have to make sure that you can balance that, though. Make sure you're putting in what you can afford to put in.
Yeah.
And also be honest with yourself. If you're not putting in what you can afford to put in, you're just shortchanging yourself.
Yeah.
Because I sometimes maybe even put in more than you can afford. Let's just be honest. If you're, because I've done that. But because when you know it's going to return to you, it's worth it.
It is. The last one is endorsements. That's somebody that's used your product or service and endorsed you. It could be in the form of reviews. It could be a video where somebody's saying, hey, I used blah, 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 and it's amazing. Endorsements can help tremendously. Think about McDonald's and Wheaties and other forms of brands that they use people to endorse their product. Coca-Cola, yeah.
All shoes.
Now you're going, Christy and Chip, I don't know anybody that plays in the NFL or plays. That's okay. Use another business owner that you've met at a networking meeting to endorse you. Use your customers to endorse you.
You know, real people in your community. And that in itself speaks volumes for people living in that community. Just make sure it's brought up in the testimonial or the video. But man, you can get free endorsements all the time.
Yeah.
And that's social media, man, or your website. But it's taking the action of getting people to get you that review, do that testimonial with you, do an interview online with you just to talk about what the service is and how it went and stuff like that. A lot of the old TV commercials I used to actually like as a kid were the local companies that would just talk to people they've worked on their houses and them say, man, they did a great job. You know, like that, those touched me more than any of the goofy shenanigans on the commercials they had. When you actually have real people in your community talking about it and look at if you have friends that have thousands of friends on Facebook, you do know people who have access to a lot of people.
You do.
Like it's just because they're not famous doesn't mean they're not social media famous in their area,
I remember hearing about Joanna Gaines when she used to work at her dad's tire shop in Waco, Texas. Her dad would film commercials and it would be Joanna interacting with customers. I would love to find that clip and play it right now.
I bet you they own them all.
I bet they do too. So like it could be something simple like that. It could be your amazing customer service person at the counter that you can video and put that out there. You don't have to put it out on TV. Put it out on all forms of social media. Cut it up.
Yeah, for sure. And you can even put the same post onto the different social media platforms. If I make one post and I don't want to necessarily go create another one from scratch, I'll just use that one on all the platforms.
Yeah.
It doesn't really hurt you,
So you want to go from obscurity to omnipresence where everybody knows your name, and you might be like overwhelmed now, like a water hose in the kind of face because we've given you 8 different ways to drive revenue into your business. Actually, with those 8 different ways, you could break it up into 20 different ways or 100 different ways, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But don't get overwhelmed. Choose one and add it this week. Maybe you don't have a Facebook page and you want to add a Facebook page, or you don't have a Google Plus page and you want to add that. Add one a week and figure out how you can do more with less. So with Facebook, you can also post to Instagram and Twitter. You can do it so many different ways. You can cut it up and use the same form to advertise on different platforms. But remember, when you're going to those different platforms, people on TikTok are silly. On Facebook, they're more serious. On LinkedIn. They're serious business, right?
Yeah.
But if you show you're a little bit silly on LinkedIn, you're going to be different than everybody else on LinkedIn. So remember that when you're going from the different kinds of platforms, that everybody's a different person on every different platform. But drive 6, 8, 10 different ways to bring more revenue into your business, and you're going to have the edge on your competition every time because they're using 1 or 2 forms.
Yeah. And think about this. If you have one that's doing really good, even if you search 3 or 4 other ones just to find another one that's doing really good, you still doubled what you were doing. So it's just a numbers game. You always have to think of it as a numbers game. Obviously, I'm going to be doing better if I'm advertising from 8 different avenues than if I'm just doing one. But Christy's right. Don't get overwhelmed. Also know that we will go into more specific trainings on the advertising, like on Facebook, the websites and SEO stuff, on marketing, period. We're going to go more in depth on that. But what you need to know is you need to take action. You need to find a way to start getting all 8 of these implemented into your business, whether it's one at a time, once a week, even if it's one a month, so you can take your time, focus, and learn for that month, this platform, and then move to the next. However you work, you just figure it out. However you work, what we're telling you will work though. Like, just keep listening, keep following the edge. Building your business is crucial to your life, to your lifestyle, to achieving your dreams. So these videos will help you get there, I promise you.
So the questions are, who are you? Are you a manager, leader? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a skilled producer? Who are you? Be honest at your core. Who are you? Number 2, who do you need to scale your business? If you're an entrepreneur, do you need a manager, leader? Because entrepreneurs are usually serial entrepreneurs, and they're like squirrel.
Yeah.
Like,
funny.
who do you need? Do you need a skilled producer? I own a handyman business. I'm not going to go out and swing the hammer. I need somebody to be able to pull that part off. I need a skilled producer. Who are you? Who do you need to be who do you need to bring into your team to get you to the next level? And what's the different forms of building your revenue that you want to incorporate into your business over these trainings? Are you going to want to add direct mail? Are you going to, or direct email? Are you going to want to add text marketing? Are you going to want to start networking? Do you want to work on your endorsements or joint ventures? Are you going to want to start to advertise? Are you going to work on your referrals? What are you going to do? Are you going to start doing direct sales, one-to-many? So these are some questions you need to ask yourself. And we're going on to video number 3.
All right.